Welcome to the second Running Your Life podcast episode. I am Louie John.
I'm Matthew Knothe.
And today should we just get straight into the junk chat?
Yeah, let's get straight into it, eh?
So, how was your weekend, mate?
I mean, probably not
How was
as...
your week, I should say?
How was my...
Week.
Oh, yeah. Week was, last week, I mean, just busy. We're getting into the deep end of uni, which is all fun, and then decided to blow some steam off on the weekend. Worked all day Saturday and had a couple drinks on Saturday night with some friends from Singapore. Pretty chill, honestly. I ended up out, got home at 3. So I don't know if that's considered pretty... That's bad if I consider that pretty chill, but... Yeah, and then Sunday night was a day of reconnecting with myself and writing a geology essay, which was riveting stuff.
Riveting.
You know what a basaltic volcano is?
Why have I heard of basaltic before?
Basalt is like a rock. Like they make street corners out of basalt. You would have heard of basalt.
Okay. Yeah.
But volcanoes kind of throw them up.
Nice.
Exciting stuff, mate. We were talking. I was asking a certain Mr. GP, let's call it that, just in case any professors, Mr. GP about basaltic, asking about it. I go, how does this relate to dating? Like, because we're talking about dating basaltic volcanoes. ChatGPT started giving me pickup lines.
Oh my god!
Like you idiot, bro. It's like no, like how old it is. It's like,
that's crazy.
Dumbest thing. Like you should have heard some of the lines it came. Well, how was your weekend? I want to find like one line while we talk about your weekend.
My week was definitely starting to feel uni ramping up, dude. Like trying to do that, and I try to make a one-liner wisdom a day video, and rather than batching them up, I'm trying to do them every day, because if I'm posting one video every day, I can look at how it's gone and then edit it and record it in a way that it's like I'm continuously improving for 50 days straight. And I feel like you can't really do that if you batch content. So it's making me a little bit more rushed than I probably should be, but I'm dealing with it. I'm managing.
Made a very good video on Wednesday.
Pardon?
Made a very good video on Wednesday.
That's actually, I think it's got my most views. I'm just going to check now.
One of the girls from Singapore saw it.
Really?
Like I saw you outside the train station on LinkedIn. It's like, what? It was like,
LinkedIn is crazy.
Yeah, on LinkedIn, I was like, that's what you meant. I was really trying to work that one out.
Yeah. And it's like, it's almost got 5K views, which, is so much more for my account.
Poor Philly just dropping books.
Yeah. Real.
You want to hear,
hit me.
a one line. This is what it came up with. Now, how this links to dating. Think of this map. I sent a photo of like a radiometric map, so it's got different colors. It's like, think of this map like the dating scene. Can't believe ChatGPT thought this. Fuck, I've given myself away. So, I no professors watch this video. It was only helping me. It was only helping me understand a concept, because I had no idea what AR 3940 dating was. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Here's a one-line analogy, and it says, use this somewhere. It's elite. Radiometric maps show what looks uniform at the surface level is actually made up of completely different histories. Kind of like dating, where the interesting ones are the anomalies.
That's unreal. That's unreal.
Can't believe it made that.
Ones are the anomalies.
Yeah. Maybe that could be your one line of wisdom for the day.
Hey, I just record it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say it over Google Meet. Yeah.
God.
So don't ask ChatGPT for anything to do with dating unless you say dating as in age.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Not the smartest. Not the smartest.
So that shocked me, dude. I don't know what to say. Oh my God.
We really thought it was slick with
Back
that one. Oh, it really thought it ate hard. It was like, it was so proud. I was like, no, you idiot.
No, you didn't cook.
It's like, I said, no dating volcanoes. He's like, got you. Strict geology only. Idiot.
You're not cold, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about Mr. GPT.
Mr. GP.
Mr. GP for too long. I'll tell you a place I didn't cook in the last week. I thought I knew how to salsa dance. I don't know shit. I don't know nothing, dude. I went to like a salsa dancing graduation party on Saturday night. Dude, that shit is so hard.
Was
Like,
it just people in level 1.5?
No, it was with people with all different levels of experience. So I was like the least experienced there, and I knew nothing at all. And like, I did start off that night pretty intentional when I was there. You know, I asked a few people if they wanted to dance. They said no, fair enough. You go ask someone else. I did that a couple of times, and then I got a few dances in, and oh my God, dude. And there was just one where I didn't know what the fuck to do. I did not know what to do. It was just like mid-song, and we were just doing the classico the whole time. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I literally just said, I don't know what to do. And then the lady I was dancing with, she just like starts doing some spins and shit. And then the song finished. I was like, phew, what the fuck? So overall, that part of my night wasn't very intentional. But then afterwards, a good mate of mine, he's a photographer and he was working at a club close by. So we went there and I pretty much went clubbing by myself. So it was at like a Latin type of club. And because he was being a photographer and he was working, obviously I couldn't spend the whole night with him. So I had to actually go out and socialize. And that's exactly what I did, which is something that it's quite unfamiliar for me. And mate, what an experience. Like, one, I don't normally go clubbing. And when I do, I drink alcohol. And I go with people. So I drove, so I couldn't drink. I went pretty much by myself. That's what it felt like for most of the night. And it was in a place that I'd never been before. So all of those coming together, just very, very out there and unfamiliar for myself. But mate, it topped off my week of trying to be intentional very, very well.
Can I challenge you on a point?
Hit me.
I think you were being intentional the whole time. I think saying you were less intentional at the La Fiesta is La Fiesta, right? Yeah. I think that's wrong.
Hit me.
I think if anything, you would have been more intentional based on the fact that, or at least you should be commended in some sense for the fact that like you were in a situation, okay, maybe you thought you were coming in, you thought you were going to be comfortable, weren't, realized quickly, oh, I'm way out of my depth, but still soldiered through, still asked people to dance. You were even, instead of trying to bullshit your way through just doing Classico for 3 minutes with this poor girl, like you were honest. You were actually intentional in the fact that you told her, I got no idea what I'm doing. That actually probably requires more guts than just, you could have just tanked out Classico for 4 minutes, but you were at least honest. So I think in that sense, that should be commended.
Thank you.
Did it without alcohol. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would almost challenge you and say you held very intentional the whole night to pull through that, because that is a very, very uncomfortable situation.
I will add to that. I probably could have asked more people. I felt I did get a bit discouraged after that happened, but also I was still having a good time.
Yeah.
So, I think that's always going to be the case. You can always find more opportunities to be more intentional, but especially how I responded to it afterwards at the club by myself. That was a great experience to feel, dude.
I think you're having some of the struggles of the type A person here, where you're actually just not giving yourself the credit you probably deserve.
Probably.
Yeah, I think you could be commending yourself a bit better. And the fact's like, I think you did pretty well. Like, obviously you're always going to be looking for that, and we preach that growth mindset, and you're always going to be looking for those opportunities. But like, you still shot, like, to use a really crappy basketball reference, it's almost like you're complaining that, Steph Curry doesn't shoot 60 shots a game. He might shoot 20. But I don't think he goes out afterwards and goes, I should have shot more. I mean, he probably does, but he probably doesn't believe he should have shot every single time he got the ball in a game.
That's true.
I think we probably, and I'm very guilty of it, and I'm sure you are as well, like, we fully expect ourselves to take every single opportunity to grow. And I think that's pretty incredible. Like, if you're able to do that, you're superhuman. Because anytime you're growing, you're probably a bit uncomfortable.
Well, that's how you grow.
That's how you grow. So every time you grow, you're uncomfortable. It's pretty hard to, let's say you got, I'm just throwing up a number, 20 opportunities in a day to do something you didn't do yesterday or wouldn't have done yesterday. It's pretty, you tell me once an hour you're going to find a way to soldier through. That's pretty tough. So I think you should probably give yourself a lot more credit than you're giving yourself.
Maybe I should. Thank you.
And on the subject of the type A person, I'm currently staring at on my iPad screen, brought me to see Chris Williamson on Friday night. And how do I explain this? I know Chris Williamson from motivational edits on YouTube that I listen to before a run. I was listening to it this morning pre-run. God, there's a lot of Chris Williamson in there. I'm talking at least 4 times in a 10-minute video, every 2.5 minutes, you can hear that British accent. I'm like, man, I missed him this whole time. He was
that
here.
Sexy British accent.
That sexy British accent. Because like he would say some stuff during the show and I'd be like, hey, I've heard that. I mean, I've heard it on a motivational video. Yeah. Get up. Yeah. I'd heard it. I'm like, I've heard that one before. Like I'd heard a lot of it. And I was like, well, oh, yeah. That in like a David Goggins edit. Anyway. So we saw Chris Williamson Friday night. Mr. Modern Wisdom fan himself, please. How did you find it? Were you satisfied? Was it your first time?
Second time seeing him live.
Yep.
I saw him a couple of years ago too. And Friday night, I'm not sure if you noticed, I was very tense the whole night. I felt like I had to be doing and being everywhere, doing everything all at the same time. Now,
because their friends are idiots.
What'd you say?
Because their friends are idiots.
That didn't pick up.
Because our friends are idiots and can't pick what they want for dinner.
Oh. No, that didn't help. Not at all. But in terms of, uni work and quizzes and the fact that I had to rush home, shower, change, get ready, go, everything, I was just like, when we eventually did decide where we were going to eat, and I was just sitting down eating my burger, dude. I eat slowly normally. I scoffed that burger. My cheeks were full every bite. And that's very unlike me. I don't shut up. But that night, I wasn't talking very much.
Yeah, you were out of it. You didn't even sit in our table.
Yeah,
You were crashing
literally.
out, eating a burger.
Like, I was low-genuinely crashing out.
I don't even know where that's come from in the group chat. It pisses me off.
So by the time I finished and, we were done with the Chris Williamson with the show, I felt a lot more relaxed, a lot more, calm. Like I am doing all right. I'm getting through. I should be giving myself more credit than I currently am. And also I didn't feel as tense at all. So did I enjoy it? Yeah, absolutely, dude. Did I enjoy it as much as the first time I saw him? No. And I think that's because I have grown a lot in that time period.
Okay.
So not because of the content, not because of him or the people I were with. It's because of the amount that I have come since the first time that I saw him. Like, will I go to see him again when he comes back to Melbourne? Absolutely. I might even do the VIP to meet him.
Oof.
Or I might get invited because, I might be on his podcast.
Maybe. Running Your Life gets Chris Williamson on as a guest.
Absolutely. Could you imagine? Wow.
Yeah, just be me and him drinking a Guinness.
Side note, I did not enjoy that Guinness.
Really?
That tasted like shit.
Oh.
But then that's me. I don't really drink beer.
Yeah.
Like at all. So
you will one day. I think my new theory is you turn 20, like get close to 21, you start to enjoy it. At least that's what happened with me.
Yeah, maybe. Like some people that I was with at the club, they were drinking Coronas. I'm like, you know what? That's actually a like a good idea. Rather than get like a drink, you're not going to spill a Corona. It'd be pretty hard to, with the bottleneck and all that stuff.
Is a relate. Corona's a relate.
Yeah. How did you find Chris Williamson?
I loved it. As much as I said I didn't know much. Like obviously, we are those type A type of people, so it's going to.
Would you like to explain that? What is a type A person?
You probably can explain it better than me, but at least my interpretation was motivated, self-driven. What was it? Ambitious. I'm just trying to remember the words he used. Am I missing any? It was like 5 or 6 he used.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but
you get the picture. The classic self-development guru probably has at least 2 to 3 self-help books sitting on his bedside table.
And those type of people that don't really give themselves credit for things.
Yeah, always chasing the horizon.
That's a great way of putting it. Always chasing the horizon.
I think as Chris said on Friday night, like you work up towards, say let's make this easy. I'll apply it to myself. You start off, I want to run a sub 3.5 hour marathon. You get there, don't really celebrate it, and then you set up, okay, now I want to do a 3-hour marathon. Get there, probably don't celebrate it that much, don't give yourself much credit, and just keep chasing that horizon. So I definitely resonated when Chris said that.
Because, running a marathon in itself is a massive achievement.
Yeah, exactly. I started off saying 3.5, like just finishing a marathon.
Exactly.
It'd be crazy. I think it's even more applicable with self-development though. I found it that way. Like any I'm always like, you might go and be like, oh, okay, 3 months ago I said I wanted to be more extroverted and able to talk to more people. And you kind of do that. You become that and you realize you become that. And then you just like completely forget about it and set your goal into something else.
I think it's a double-edged sword.
Oh, absolute. Like, it's a good thing. We're only talking about it as a bad thing right now, but to be driven is awesome.
It has literally changed my life.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you remember much of how I was at school, especially like, year 10, year 11, year 12, but
Had a lot of super coach.
only took you 20 minutes.
That's a long time.
That is a
really
long time.
Be grateful, man. 20 minutes for a super coach.
Yeah. And to the person that I am now, it's like, I'm the same person, but I'm completely different.
Yeah.
I have different interests. Dude, I was scared to dance at parties back then. I was scared to go to parties. Now I literally go to salsa dancing parties. I'm doing classes. Oh, and by the way, I did so I just got to the next level.
You do salsa?
It is my personality, and I fucking love it.
I never knew. Why haven't you told me this?
Me no hablo inglés.
Are you a Bad Bunny fan?
Look, he's growing on me. There is one song that I absolutely love, and it's like a.
Yeah, we know which song it is. You were dancing alone at it. See, this is how far you've come.
We're back after a little bit of a super coach chat. It was necessary. Now, what I was saying, I just started my new salsa class yesterday. So I've gone up from like the beginner level to like the next one up, which is the salsa 2.0. And oh my God, it feels like I've never done anything that hard before. That was the biggest step up. Like, I have been humbled. This weekend, I've been humbled. I went to a Latin dancing night that I thought I could dance, couldn't dance. I then went to the next level up of classes and thought I could dance, and I couldn't dance. And dude, I was just like, at the end of the class, I didn't know what was going on. But I'm starting to get it slowly. I just need to practice each and every day, because that's how you go.
It's going to be in the study area, just like hitting some classicos.
Oh, dude, it's a lot harder than that. It's like a pivot with like behind the back, and then it's like a crossbody. Dude, don't get me started.
Bro, you think you're Jalen Brunson or some shit. Don't do that. That looked weird. That looked really weird.
I don't think that'll be in the podcast though, because the speaker gets highlighted.
I hope it is. Anyway.
Back to Chris Williamson. How'd you find the meditation?
I loved it. That was really cool. As much as you obviously couldn't, I guess the whole idea of the meditation is you're not supposed to see everyone putting their hand up, but you can kind of tell everyone is.
Not for every single one of them, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not for every. I didn't put my hand up for every single one. I think he did like the last 6, and I was like, there was
I could hear the people next to me.
Yeah.
Their shirt and shit moving, but then I focused my attention away from that, because that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Good luck to them if they decide to raise their hand for whatever.
Well, I don't think it's besides the point. I think it is the point.
Yeah.
I think the whole point is like you're supposed to feel everyone in the auditorium or most people putting their hand up. What would you say? Like you did 75%?
I reckon there was only maybe 1 or 2 that I didn't, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say I might be about 70% I put my hand up to. 70, 75. Couldn't exactly tell you how many we did, but
yeah,
it felt about like that, 3 and 4. I mean, I thought that was cool, but yeah, I think the whole point is like everyone has these thoughts of like the human mind's racked. I mean, it's a survival instinct, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You underestimate yourself so you don't do something dumb. But it's also kind of fucked up.
And that's just the reality that we live in, right? We get caught up in doing literally everything everywhere all at once, especially if
Review reference.
hello.
Google review reference.
It's so true though.
Yeah.
Like that just the movie title alone is like, that's definitely how I felt on Friday. And the result of feeling that, I was just like
Stress eating.
I didn't know what to do, man. I didn't know how to deal with it. And doing that meditation just helped ground me so much more. So much more.
It was a very cool experience.
Have you ever done a non-sleep deep rest protocol? So Dr. Andrew Huberman, he has recorded like, and I shouldn't say a video, but it's like an audio recording of him with like some meditation music in the background. And doing this is supposed to help, relax you. It helps you. Well, it's got a bunch of different benefits, ranging from sometimes improving your functionality due to a lack of sleep or trying to prevent those impacts on how you function, or even just helping you relax and get to bed at the end of the night, at the end of a pretty hectic, busy night. So, when Chris Williamson was saying, move your fingers and wiggle your toes very gently. Do you remember that?
Sort of, yeah.
That's also part of the non-sleep deep rest thing. So I kind of think that the non-sleep deep rest stuff was sort of woven into that meditation thing that we did, which I love doing, but it's just not something I've made time for recently.
It's pretty cool. The whole night was just, it's like I walked out and felt like I learned a bit. As I said, I was feeling charged. I was like, I'm ready to run through a brick wall. Don't let me go to the SB.
The SB.
Don't let me go to the SB. Because
I don't even know where we went.
I don't know what it was called. It was Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the first bar that we were going to go to.
Yeah, that was my fault, and they blamed you.
Yeah, because people love blaming Louie John for stuff.
It's the easiest thing in the world. You're an easy, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm an easy target.
You're an easy target. Go
Hit
out.
me.
Fucking Louie. Gonna love blaming Louie John. It was your word, or it was your wisdom for the day. It didn't wise me.
What was my? Oh, but no, but it was the burnt the bean. I burnt the bean. Do you even know where that's from? Please tell me.
You guys had to explain me. You explained it to me last week.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
I don't know.
Follow that tune.
Yeah,
yeah, okay. Well, if Philly, Lockie, or Kai ever watch this, they're probably either going to cringe or start pissing themselves laughing.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Chris. We're rabbit holing.
Yeah.
Honestly felt like I learned a lot. It was very interesting. I also liked, was it James before?
James Smith.
James Smith. That I liked the whole thing about closing the loops. I thought that was really interesting, and taking the path of action. So that kind of like became like a cue word in my head over the last couple of days. It's like, just take the path of action. Take the, there's either path of action or inaction. Take the path of action. And
every choice is a decision.
Yep. Yeah.
Everything that you do is a decision. That's actually something that I didn't realize I can help my clients with, but it's also something that I now realize I can help my clients with. So doing the Empire Mastery about a month ago now, going to the Chris Williamson show, you take bits and pieces, and I can apply it to myself and also to help be a better leader, be a better coach, facilitator. mentor, friend, son?
Daughter.
I'm not normally speechless, but
Filling in the quote. I was just filling in the quote.
yeah. Yeah, but I can't be a better daughter. Can I?
Yeah. Point. Yeah, it was good night. Learned a lot. I think we should
Let's talk about your intentionality quickly from the past week. We didn't really touch on that.
okay, yep, let's do my week recap. Let me just kind of run through the days of the week in my head and just come at you with it. Monday. Forgot what I did Monday last week, so that doesn't help. Tuesday, I had uni, so I guess I was just being very intentionally present around you boys. I mean, sometimes well, it is a decision, isn't it, to not go out and put yourself out there, but like in some situations, it's like, honestly, you don't feel like it. I wouldn't say I was too charged up on Tuesday, but you know, in the gym, talking, I was being social around a lot of the people I know. Wednesday, again,
Could I quickly stop you there?
yeah, please hit me.
I'd love if people take one thing from me, from this podcast, it's to stack up those wins, you know, build the momentum. There are going to be days, like Matt just said, that me, you can't be bothered being intentional, and that they will happen. That's inevitable, and it's having those days, having more days where you are intentional, having more days where you do act with intentionality, you do think, present with intention,
Yeah,
and having more of them. Because if you have more of them, yeah, every now and then you will take 2 steps back.
yeah, you have a bad day. Well, I would say it's about building momentum, so you only ever take 1 step back, but 2 steps forward.
Absolutely. And you get into a rhythm. It's like, yeah, I know it's coming. The 1 step back's coming. It's going to come eventually. I don't know when it's coming, but it's coming. And as soon as it comes, then we can move. Don't look at me like that. No.
Yep.
No. Oh, for fuck's sake.
But yeah, you're right. You got to make it into a habit. You got to make those days coming into a habit. When I was reading Atomic Habits, James Clear kind of talks about one of the things is never miss 2 days in a row.
I have heard that.
Once you miss 2 days in a row, it becomes a habit. So if that's, let's say, your thing is you want to make friends at your gym. You'll make friends at your gym, and how you believe you're going to do that is every single day. It might be the same person. You could have a goal to talk to someone new every day, whatever that may be. You're going to do that every time you go. You're doing that at least once. But once you start to make that once you miss 1 day, you go, okay, I missed 1 day. I've got to make sure I do it again tomorrow. If you don't do it again tomorrow, then that in itself becomes a habit of, now I missed 2 days in a row. Then it becomes 3, 4, and then guess what? You're back to where you started. So I guess what we were saying before, it's about actually trying to build momentum and stack your wins. So it is, you're always, if you take a step back, you're taking 2 steps forward the next day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that's important.
Now, should we end this podcast talking about the movie scene frame?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So some of you might have heard this from Chris Williamson already. He left us with a question. And the question was something along the lines of, if your life was a movie, and there were people watching from their couches at home, what would they be screaming at the TV, which is blatantly obvious for you to do next? What is that next step? What is that change? What is that decision that you need to make that you have been delaying, that you haven't done, that is blatantly obvious to the people at home watching on the couch, but not necessarily to you in that movie currently? And I thought that was an incredibly powerful question. And I know we'll talk about this. I've got my answer. I pretty much had it straight away as soon as he asked the question. But
I think we start with you.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
So my blatantly obvious thing would be to leave uni and to stop. And that is not something that I'm going to do because of what I was chatting to Matt about off stage. Is my parents have given up way too much of their time, their effort, their energy, their money to send me to a private school. You know what I mean? They've given up way too much stuff.
I think you've given up a lot as like.
I've given up a lot as well, and
psychological, physical health at times.
Literally during year 12 was torture.
Yeah.
Physically, mentally, just torture. So I've gone through way too much to just stop now. It's like would my growth become even more rapid as a result of this, of leaving? Yeah, absolutely. Will there be a really big tilt as a result of this? Yeah, absolutely. But I've got time. And I know things are going to be slower now, so that it's like I'm still laying the groundwork, because you don't want to build an empire when the cement that you're building the empire on is still wet. So that's where I'm at now.
It's a very good saying.
How about yourself? What did you think of the question?
I thought it was really interesting because there was 3 days later, I still cannot think of anything obvious to me that would say like that's like a big decision, at least. Like there's nothing uni-wise. I still think I'm in a bit of a transitional period at the moment where I think I think there are a lot of big things I did last year that were probably there would have been a lot of times the TV screen would have been getting screamed at. But now I sit here on this side of the year and I go, well, like I'm happy where I'm at. Like, of course, there's stuff we're working on, but I don't think it's anything. When Chris was obviously talking about big decision, I'm like, there's nothing big right now. Maybe in the next few months, obviously, stuff will be happening, but like, if I look at all sectors of my life with the running and I'm getting to spend a lot of time with my amazing friends. I'm happy. I get to do my development. I think I'm pretty balanced. I'm enjoying uni and work. It's a bit of an interesting one at the moment, I feel.
Do you think you feel like that because we're in our early 20s? You've just turned 21. I'm 20. We don't really have big decisions to make, and we're in a position that we don't need to make big decisions at this age.
I think there's definitely big decisions that need to be made at our age, but that might not just be clear. You know, they might have not unearthed themselves yet. You know, maybe in 3 months' time, something comes along and you're like, oh my God, you know, you need to make the big call of starting the business, let's say, or going all in with running coaching. Who knows?
Yeah. And As Louis John said yesterday, enjoy the passage of time. You know, whatever happens, happens. That's the best advice that I could give. You know, just take things as they come. And another great thing that Chris Williamson said is like, the good shit sticks.
Good shit sticks.
How amazing is that quote? Because I think it does.
I would agree. I would agree. There's definitely like things I've read, listened to that you go, that one sticks with me.
It's literally like, you know, we did it before, the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. When we hear something good.
Yeah, you realize some of those like cues you use in your head on a day to keep yourself present or intentional or whatever. Like those are things that obviously stuck with you. Like we all have certain cues that we go, hey, you need to be more present right now. You're not, your head's not in the game. So I think it was very interesting. Or like something like maybe you're in a situation where there's, I don't know, you're too scared to go do something. And you have a certain thing in your head, you go, no. Like for me, like some of my courage ones might be like the pain of pushing through is less than fear and regret. So you have those cues and you remember them. So I really like that. Honestly, I wish Chris had recorded it so I could watch it back and like take notes.
I think there's also a beauty about not being able to do that.
True.
It definitely helps me be more present while I'm there, which leading up to it felt incredibly difficult for me on Friday. But, you know, when you're there, the room darkens, they turn the lights off. You just see the blue lights in the background behind him. It's like, yeah, okay, now shit's getting real. And it did.
Yeah. And funny. It was actually a very funny show.
Yeah.
Chris is a very funny guy.
So is James. I thought James was funny.
James is hilarious. He said the room was a bit cold in Sydney. I'm like, the room's a bit cold in Melbourne. This stuff's hilarious. Why is no one laughing?
Yeah.
Maybe it was my type of humor. I think it was very much my type of humor, but it's like, why is no one laughing at some of these jokes? Which I mean, they were inappropriate, but
they're funny. So
we all know my sense of humor.
Yeah. Yeah. So for next week, mate, are we going to keep trying to be intentional and just let's see where it takes us? I definitely am. So
I think it's the only way to go, mate.
Absolutely.
Make it a habit.
Because a habit isn't formed over one day. You know, if you're trying to drive, you've been driving over, you know, the same tracks in a grass field for years and years and years on end. The moment you veer off to try and create a new path and you only do that once, yeah, the grass is going to be flattened just for a little bit. But as soon as you start driving back onto the path, within a day, that grass will be back up like normal. So the more you veer off and the more you stay on the new path, the better your chances of creating that new path.
I like it. What day is that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've got it written down in the notebook somewhere.
Oh, it is there. Okay. No, it's a really good one. I like it.
Like I heard it from Aaron Sansoni.
Okay.
When I did the Empire Mastery, and mate, the good shit sticks.
Good shit sticks.
So I've started using it too.
I like it.
Yeah.
Are you reading books this week?
Am I what?
You have any books you're reading this week?
Yeah, I'm still rereading No More Mr. Nice Guy.
No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Which I've actually found helps me with my clients as well. Not just me personally, but professionally. It's definitely helping me lead them in the right direction, be a better leader, but also offer better tailored advice and my thoughts on the situations that they're finding themselves in.
Beautiful, mate.
Yourself? You want to read a book?
went and grabbed it. It's probably in reverse right now, so it doesn't help. I'm reading The High Five Habit by Mel Robbins.
Mm.
Good book. Currently at the very start, but more about self-love.
Mm.
I think, which was also resonate. I'm starting to look at a lot of this self-help stuff that we've been doing and realize, I mean, this is going to be too deep of a This is too deep of a question for the end of the podcast. No, finish it. We can not close this loop. We'll keep this loop open.
Yep. Hit me.
Did you find when you started self-help, like reading your books or listening to podcasts, really trying to develop yourself, you were doing it mainly for the external, like how you can act to see how other people, how you act for other people to perceive you. Yeah, sorry.
Back.
Battery.
Yeah. To pick up from that, yeah, absolutely. I was doing it initially in hope that my external and how the external perceived me would change. And I'm not sure if this is where you were taking it, but the internal has also cleansed. It's like with one of my clients, you're going to love this. With one of my clients, I used the analogy of us inside is like a 600 ml bottle, right? But when you've got 600, you just keep squishing 600 mils of fucking shit down the bottle, that's inside. When the bottle overfills, whatever you're saying and whatever comes out gets projected onto other people and it isn't taken the right way. So, do you remember when we read The Dressmaker at school?
Yeah.
And Tilly had that moment of catharsis, how for 30 years she'd been bullied and outcasted and everything by her town. And then at the very end, she's like, ah, and she just screams and then lights the place on fire the next day. So sorry for the spoiler, but
yeah,
it works well with my example.
So excited to read The Dressmaker.
Honestly, I am considering reading it. I really enjoyed that book, surprisingly. But yeah, when you clean the shit out of this bottle, and there's always going to be shit in it, right? So rather than cleaning it at 600 mils, you clean it when it gets to 100 mils of shit. And maintaining a clean vase, a clean glass, is a way to help nourish yourself, do that inner work, but also project that externally to people.
Okay. I'm it's sort of where I was going with it, but I was more thinking of the fact that like you start it for your external, like what you said, which I 100% agree with. But I think the more and more you do it, the more you actually realize that it should be about the it should be about the internal and taking control on yourself. So like I've also just finished, I've been on a bit of a Mel Robbins binge. I'm on my second Mel Robbins book at the moment. So I'm just reading through, I just finished Let Them. And, like at the end, it's like, just fun fact, the book is not actually about Let Them. There's like a whole different phrase she uses that the book's really about. And I'm not going to ruin, I'm kind of going to have to ruin it, but it's
Eventually.
Let Me.
I was going to say Let You.
Yeah,
that was going to be my guess. Is
important, but Let Me is, let them say what they want, but let me, let them make a rude comment about our podcast, but let me not get offended by it, or let me know that me doing this podcast is a true, authentic version of myself and I really enjoy it. And because I like it, I'm going to keep doing it.
And another way to phrase that to me is it's the meaning that you attach to that.
Yeah.
So whether you let shit stick or whether you let, a nice, beautiful, yummy scent or food stick to that phrase, the saying, the action, the word, external or internal. Should we end it there?
I think that's a good. Well, I think on the loop we should end it is and what we'll talk about. I think maybe next week. It's a really nice little lead. It is with self-help. Do we start too external when actually the key is? Well, at the end of the day, the key is you're the love of your own life.
Yeah. I'm just writing these down.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, you're the love of your own life. That's amazing.
I'll send you the chapter.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to episode 2 of the Running Your Life podcast, guys. I'm Matthew Knothe, and I'm lucky enough to be here with the great
Louie John.
So have a great week. Stay intentional. Stay hard.
Okay, David Goggins.
So I'd throw that one in there.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, see you guys next week.